Spectrum, baby.
We got a lot coming at you. This is pretty much the show to give the vision of a fan perspective. I mean, I know sports, it's definitely a culture, and as a fan, I have a lot to say, and I know you have a lot to say. I'm Romeo the Real Deal Montiel. This is right here. We got
Brandon, bro. This is Big OP.
Big OP, okay.
Yeah, baby.
And we're gonna go across the country with you guys. We're gonna start off here in Chicago, which is our native land, and just talk about sports, man. I mean, definitely, it's just one of those times, especially with everything opening back up slowly but surely. It's just talk about sports again. It's picking up.
Yeah,
you actually go to a game. I was actually at a game the other day, and it was just, dude, beautiful. I had a great time.
I mean, it's really nice to see fans again.
And I know the biggest thing right now for Chicago is probably football. I mean, the Chicago Bears, dude. Everyone's more hyped with the Chicago Bears, and I mean, the Cubs and Sox, definitely are big too. But I think because those teams have had a championship in like the last 20 years, both of them.
Yeah.
And the White Sox are definitely on the way up and possibly could potentially get another one. But
yes, sir.
The Bears have definitely been a team that Chicago has been waiting for to have won a Super Bowl. We've seen them go, but Peyton Manning, is Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning, prime Peyton Manning. There's nothing you can do about that, right?
Right. But it's just that time where we got a quarterback. We have two quarterbacks, three quarterbacks, if you want to be specific.
Three quarterbacks that we're paying.
And all these quarterbacks, I mean, two of them are veterans, with decent backgrounds. I won't say one's probably better than the other. And then we have a rookie quarterback who has a lot of potential. Definitely was in the Heisman race. Definitely, went to a championship game. He has that championship experience. We have two quarterbacks with championship experiences.
Yes, sir.
And that being Justin Fields. Now, definitely a big speculation about who is going to start, who's going to be the future, who's going to be the guy. And we tested it with Nick Foles last year, and it was okay, to say the least.
Yeah.
I feel like it wasn't. It was more or less average. I mean, he had his moments, but he also had his downslide, which is typically a Bears quarterback per se.
I would say that bringing the Nick Foles was to put pressure on Mitch, and I mean, early on in the season, you could tell Mitch was, he knows the offense, he just couldn't execute it. It's what it really comes down to. He couldn't really get his reads down. He was never really what Matt Nagy wanted, and that's kind of what happens when you draft a QB, and the coach doesn't get a say-so. Like, this Matt Nagy wasn't here yet. They still had John Fox. John Fox didn't even know that's the route the Bears were going with QB. So John Fox is gone. Matt Nagy comes in, and he has to work with Mitch. He has to this is my guy. This is the guy the front office has put all their money into, that first round pick. So it's kind of hard. But now that Matt Nagy goes out of the way, and now that he got to pick his guy, it buys him time. But for sure, we need to see now he has no excuse. You have the rookie quarterback. You have the guy that you believe fits your system the best. And I think they are going the right way with not starting him. A lot of people in Chicago want him to start.
I think he should start.
Yeah, you see, and it's fine. That makes perfect sense. I get it. He's got the rocket arm. He's won the national. He's beaten national championship teams. He's played well.
I think he's that primetime guy. I mean, if you go, they're starting off the season right out the gate with Sunday night primetime. People want to watch Justin Fields, and I know, from a Ryan Pace perspective, money's money, and who doesn't want to see Justin Fields play?
Yes, sir.
Especially right out the gate. And that's why I think he's going to start week one. I do think Andy Dalton's great. I know he had a really bad year last year with Dallas, but that whole team fell apart. And with Dak Prescott being their leader, I mean, it doesn't help either. And I just feel like with Andy Dalton, he's had some shine of light. I mean, when he was with the Bengals, he had AJ Green. He developed AJ Green, I feel like. And he
did well with the Bengals. He did well.
Good, yeah.
It wasn't bad. They went to the playoffs. They were a good team.
They were constantly in the playoffs. But I think Justin Fields has a lot to prove. being picked 11th over, three guys that two of those guys I had never heard of until the draft had started. Zach
Yeah.
Wilson and Trey Lance. I had never heard of those guys. I mean, college football, don't get me, for last year was definitely hard because it was just a weird scenario with every college.
A lot of people sat out.
Exactly. And then even with Justin Fields, he only played 6 games. But I think at the same time, we knew Justin Fields went to a championship game. I mean, how do you pick these 3 guys over Justin Fields? I mean, Trevor Lawrence, yeah, he's
we know great. Trevor, yeah.
We know Trevor. He's done it. He's got a championship. He's been multiple times. And Dabo Sweeney's his coach, or that's not his coach. I don't know. I forgot his coach.
Yeah,
he's been under great coaches.
Yes.
And it's like you have that reputation, and yet you get, just forgotten with these 2 guys that never really heard of. And I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying, when you have a name like that, it's just kind of, you get diminished with, hey,
this
I'm
sucks
Justin
to me.
Fields.
Yeah, a lot of people like to say, as a Bears fan, a lot of people say, dude, you passed up on Mahomes and you passed up on Watson.
But Watson's different because
that's
we knew who Watson was. Watson to me is like Fields. We knew who Watson was coming into the season. He was this guy, he brought Clemson to the championship. He competed against Alabama. I mean, how do you beat Alabama and not get any recognition and not get picked, top at the first pick for a quarterback? That's what blew me that's
exactly the same thing. Like a lot of people that say you passed up on Mahomes and Watson. Me is like, nobody knew Mahomes was going to be Patrick Mahomes. No, that's a once in a lifetime player. No, it comes down to me where we passed up on Watson.
Exactly.
The Bears should have drafted Watson.
I agree.
But without this whole thing going on, we don't have Justin Fields. So everything kind of falls for its purpose.
I agree.
Real quick, I'm going to tell you what former QB Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler was on the way the Waddle.
How I feel about Jay Cutler.
Look. Hey, he's the best quarterback the Bears have ever had by numbers.
No, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Overall, though, going off of what he was on the Waddle and Sylvie show on ESPN, which is ESPN Chicago. Jay Cutler went out. He said, "I wouldn't play the kid Fields to start. That's what I would do. I would let him watch. I think it's just a tough spot to put someone out there, especially in Chicago. And I think Andy Dalton is more than serviceable. I think they can win games with Andy and kind of float the ship along until the kid is ready." I believe that. I agree with that.
I see what he's saying. I see, Chicago is a tough spot, and Andy Dalton's playing Cincinnati, which is another tough spot. Cincinnati is one crap in any sport really in a long time. And I get that. It's a tough place it's tough. Chicago is a very blue collar sports city. When we want to win, we need it now. You know what I'm saying? It's very like that. And we're impatient as a fan base. And I get that. But at the same time, this guy is motivated, man. And I have nothing against motivation, especially at a young age. I do see Andy Dalton as being a great mentor.
And like they said, they're trying to get him to be almost like pitch perfect. They're trying to literally create the pitch perfect quarterback with Fields in terms of knowing what to call on the line, knowing when the clock's going to end, knowing to make sure your receivers are set, who's on line, who's on center, who's off center, knowing the schemes and being able to call different defenses. That's literally, they're trying to make him like perfect and understanding how to make calls in the huddle, because in college it was off signs. It wasn't about play calls, actually making the calls in the huddle. Those are things that they're trying to perfect. If he can perfect that and get that, get the reps in camp, then I can believe he's a starter. My worry is Andy Dalton doesn't have the reps either. So knowing Nagy in the front office, they're going to want Andy Dalton to get the reps at the team one, because he is
at the same time. QB1. At the same time, there's a new line too. I mean,
there's
a new left. Go ahead.
Now the biggest thing with the new line is you have Tevin Jenkins. Tevin Jenkins is more than likely probably going to start at the left tackle, but Borum is probably not. And Borum's that kid. I think he's right guard right now, or he's looking at the right guard position. Borum would be amazing if he can get to a point where he can start as well, and we have 2 linemen, like rookies, like kids, that'll be amazing. And of course, that would accomplish well with bringing Phil.
And it gets the run game going too. I mean, the run game is another thing that we've kind of been speculating. It got better at the end of the season last year, but
for sure, yeah.
I think with Tariq Cohen coming back, that's definitely another speculation where it's like, well, Tariq Cohen, what are we gonna do with you now? What, David Montgomery is getting a thing going. We also got the new what's his name, Khalil. Forgot his name. What's up?
Is it Hibbert?
Yeah, something like that. But I forgot his name. But I saw when we dropped him, I was like, okay, who's this guy?
Virginia Tech, decent. I think, out of Virginia Tech. Yeah, no,
and that run game's definitely gonna help out with Justin Fields, I think, too, with his run game too as well, because Justin Fields can run the ball, and I think it makes sense to me. Justin Fields to start. I think with Andy Dalton,
Don't get me wrong, I'd love it. I
agree.
I don't know if that's gonna. I don't believe it'll happen though. I think we're gonna see Dalton get his ass beat by the Rams, and then like kind of get a reality check at the beginning of the season, and then be like, okay.
This is where I disagree because, and I don't necessarily want to get politics into this, but I know a lot of people speculate that the Bears can be a racist franchise, and.
That's the thing, right? Everybody talks like they've never had a black quarterback at the helm, and a lot of us, and we have friends that were like enjoy almost crying. I've had friends that told me that they cried seeing the Bears draft Justin Fields. This is a huge deal. It's bigger than football. It is huge, bigger.
And if this breaks out, it's gonna be one of the best things Chicago's Bears have ever done.
Franchise. It'd be like the best. Him just being drafted by the Bears already puts him like in the top 5 category.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy, man.
He hasn't even taken a snap yet. He's already in that conversation.
With that situation, I mean, that's definitely hard to decide a fate of someone, and it just shows how this is more than football. And
facts, yes, it is.
I'm very excited to see what happens. It's good stuff coming, man. It's either gonna be I don't know. It's scary too though. But
no, for sure.
I'm very excited.
For sure. Facts.
I'm very excited. Hey guys, if you guys enjoyed what you saw, please like and subscribe. Follow us on
TikTok, Twitter, IG when we get that up and running, and make sure again subscribe to that YouTube. Show some love.
Enjoy it, guys. We want to see your viewpoints, and make sure you comment. And if you want to talk trash, hey. Bring it on.
Feel free.